Well, we're back to wrap things up from this year's Iowa Cattle Industry Leadership Summit. Joining us now is Cora Fox, the Director of Government Relations with the Iowa Cattlemen's Association. Cora, first, just kind of give us some thoughts as we wrap up here with the event this year. What were some of your takeaways from the summit?
I think my takeaways from this summit is that our members are very engaged in what the work of the Iowa Cattlemen's Association is. And looking ahead over the next 9 to 12 months, we have a few priorities that came forth through the feedback that we received from our members, and all of that was reiterated here at Leadership Summit. So what we're going to see moving forward is really a focus on labeling. That was a big hot button issue this year, particularly mandatory country of origin labeling. Our membership worked really hard to dive into mandatory country of origin labeling and the implications of that and try to find a solution that worked best for producers. And so the direction of the association now is to figure out or identify what a World Trade Organization compliant mandatory country of origin labeling would be. What I mean by that is we can't go back to the old MCOOL law that was in place because we had rulings from the World Trade Organization that came down and said Canada and Mexico would be able to tariff the United States. We are trying to find a solution that works outside of that so it'll benefit producers and also will not damage our export markets. In addition to that, Product of the USA labeling is very important. We want to make sure that consumers are aware of the origin of their products and that it's truthful in labeling. We don't want to see a label that says Product of the USA that hasn't been confirmed or verified on, particularly imported beef coming into the United States. In addition to that, there are a few other priorities that we're going to see the Iowa Cattlemen's Association focus on over the next year. The waters of the U.S., we're going to be working with the EPA, so staying really closely engaged with agency officials on that front. Fake meat, whether it be plant-based or cell-cultured protein, making sure that the labels are appropriate and that it's all managed by the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
Any other issues that you heard maybe producers talking about here at the summit this week? I know exports were obviously a big one, and then some of the cattle market legislation going through the House and Senate right now. Is there anything else to highlight?
Cattle market reform. I mean, we can't ignore that. For several years, the association's been engaged on that front, but really for the past 2 years, we've been the tip of the spear. And I say that, kind of tongue-in-cheek, but really, it started with Senator Grassley's initial introduction of 5014 legislation, and that functioned as a catalyst. We saw legislation come from Senator Fisher of Nebraska, and then now we're at a place where we have a compromise between the two, or really it's a collaboration more than a compromise. And we feel that there's a lot of support on both sides of the aisle, Democrats and Republicans, and also in the House. And so we are staying very committed to that cause, making sure that we have a mandated level of cash trade on a regional basis so that we have ample price discovery for the industry, which there is consensus that price discovery is absolutely necessary for the fed cattle market. And then also making sure that we have some transparency, providing more information for producers so that we can be best informed when we make our marketing decisions. Looking ahead, we'll continue to work with our Iowa congressional delegation, both in the House and the Senate, to make sure that we get that across the finish line. So I expect in early 2022, likely to have some hearings, hopefully in the House and Senate, to move that bill forward. We have a timeline of February 18th. That is the extension that we have for livestock mandatory reporting, and that aligns with the continuing resolution that Congress just had passed. We want to be sure that we incorporate these changes into LMR rather than just waiting for one additional year maintaining the status quo.
Well, it was a busy year for sure. Was it nice to be back in person for the event this year?
Absolutely. It was great to see our cattlemen face to face. I mean, I go out in the countryside, and we've been very committed to meeting with our members, but to have folks from all four corners of the state in one place is fantastic. It gives them an opportunity to really celebrate the camaraderie of the beef cattle industry, which is something that we appreciate here at the Iowa Cattlemen's Association.
Thanks so much for coming by and talking with us, okay?
Thank you, Brent. We sure appreciate your support.
Again, that's Cora Fox, Director of Government Relations with the Iowa Cattlemen's Association, as we're wrapping up the Iowa Cattle Industry Leadership Summit for 2021.